Hello class, my name is Jacqueline and my video for today is based on pros and cons of gun laws. Ronald Reagan once said that I do not believe in taking away the right of the citizen for sporting, for hunting, and so forth, or for home defense. But I do believe that an AK-47 or machine gun is not a sporting weapon or needed for the defense of a home. In a news article written by Boston University in 2021, gun violence in America has increased by at least 30 to 40% from 2019 to 2021 and so on. It is a staggering concept, but we didn't hear it, with these COVID news that has been going on, and it's just COVID really took away all that information to the side. And gun violence isn't anything new or unusual in this day and age, or even in this century, as I should say. There is a lot of news about this topic right now. To this day, I hope neither you nor I have experienced a shooting at a grocery store, let alone at a high school or college, where we should immediately assume we will be protected and where our parents will feel safe if they drop us off. Suppose we knew more efficient, better ways to reduce gun violence for our future, for our kids' futures and families. There is no single simple solution to reducing gun violence in this country. Several common sense steps will be a great place to start or actions taken right now. Hopefully we will understand this speech in a proper way to hopefully reduce this crisis. First we can do is what type of assault weapons we can ban with high capacity ammunition, those that are under a roof of a house. Second, no matter what state you are located in, enforce the background checks. The third and last step is to disarm all domestic abusers. Immediately for all gun sales. Now that you have read or heard my speech a little bit about it, I will now continue and hopefully have you guys do a bit of research of why we're suffering this. Later on, knowing a couple ways, to change the statistics of this continued situation. Point A is, if someone were to ask you what a high capacity gun is, I would answer, just by the sound of it, it sounds like a type of military weapon, and the answer is correct. It's an ammunition feeding device that could go to 10 rounds or 15 rounds at once. A review of mass shootings between 2009 and July 2015 found that 155% more people were shot and 47% more were killed when assault weapons, or how we talked about the large capacity guns, were used. Assault weapons and high capacity weapons dramatically increase lethally in shootings, leading to more deaths of innocent people. Almost every mass shooting that has occurred and weapons were used were AR-15s. Those weapons are weapons of war currently used by the people in the army. All of us agree that people have a right to self-defense and a civilized society. The next logical progression is the right to defend oneself effectively. I will understand and will always abide by owning a gun to defend or protect ourselves. But keeping a high-range gun that is used now in countries of war under our roofs, where you may think you've put it in a safe spot, and given in these current situations, anything can happen. Anybody can have access to that safe. Yes, most states already allow citizens to own high-capacity magazines, but these states have strictly enforced background checks and intense firearm training. So if these states have implemented these rules, why not all states of America? Since most American schools have a school shooting drill, we should head to our second step, continuing enforcing background checks and firearm training. There must be a background check for gun purchases that must be in place. If you were to ask me, do all states in America have this law? The simple answer is no. This state, if you tell me, is known for mass shootings. However, a substantial gap in the law allows unlicensed sellers, such as private individuals who sell guns online or at gun shows or anywhere else, to sell guns without conducting a background check. This means that prohibited purchasers can easily evade the law by buying guns through private transactions. 50% of gun owners who acquire their most recent gun through a private sale rather than from a licensed gun dealer within the past 2 years did so in a transaction that did not include a background check. Background checks keep guns out of the wrong hands. If we were to implement this and enforce it, we would decrease shootings. Background checks mean that people with dangerous histories easily circumvent the background check system simply by purchasing their firearms online or at a gun store. Background checks effectively help reduce gun violence and gun trafficking, making sellers a private company and not requiring background checks. There are transitioning where there is hardly any news on domestic abusers who use weapons ranging from women to same-sex partners. that it has affected more women in the country than any other person. In an article written by Brady United 202, inmate female partners are most likely to be murdered with a gun that by all means combined. A gun in a household that has experienced domestic violence increases the risk that a woman will be murdered by 5,000%. Abusers also frequently use guns as tools of intimidation even without pulling the trigger. A recent study found that nearly 4.5 million women in the U.S. have been threatened with a gun by an abuser. Most of these abusers have been subjected to a temporary restraining order, which for me is just a piece of paper shoved to their face. It doesn't protect you, I feel. And as I stated at the beginning of the speech, I think we can agree that people are interested in doing certain activities with their weapon, but having a high-range weapon under your roof or in someone's home, I don't think it's right for no reason, family members can have access to it. Kids, they can figure out the code, and deaths can happen. The third and last step is to disarm all domestic abuse immediately for all gun sales. While it may be hard for some people to understand why, these three main topics that should be enforced in gun laws can protect our family members and letting ourselves enjoy everyday tasks without being worried about being shot in a supermarket or having a nice jog around the neighborhood. We need to enforce our gun laws in every state. We shouldn't even have to reconsider this. If every state can purchase a gun, then every state, I believe, should abide from facing these gun laws. Like I said, it's a really scary world out there, and we could enforce the background checks, we could disarm all domestic abusers, and we can't have these high-range weapons in our homes and with family members that know the code, and one day they could access it and just not do anything correct with that weapon. So I hope with this video we could find better reasons, or just, I will leave, I hope you guys saw my visual essay. I left references there, and you guys can read the more info and what more laws we could use for gun protection from all of us. Thanks again for watching my speech.